A lot of people think, oh, when you want to start competing for the first time, a CrossFit Games athlete's going to be amazing. They start off and they're awesome. It's absolutely not true.
In lane number 12, sitting in 12th place from Iron Major CrossFit, that is Jacob Heppner.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to 2020. It's a new year. So, new year, new series. Also, Jacob still doesn't know what to do with his hands, but let's get into it. So, last year I did a series called So You Just Started CrossFit. And the idea behind that was, hey, you just started CrossFit and you have some basic questions that you might be embarrassed to ask. You know, how do I find the right gym? How do I find the right coach? Should I do PT? Stuff like that. And the more and more I did it, the more I realized it really benefited a lot of people. And the more and more I got questions from a different kind of area of CrossFit, and that's the idea of competition. And so, in 2021 series we are going to try and start is this series we are going to do today to start off. And that is to answer the question, so, you want to start competing, ... The purpose of this series is to answer your guys' questions, you guys, the viewers, who want to start competing. And I'm not talking about people who just want to compete at the games, who have aspirations to make it to the CrossFit Games. I'm not talking about people who just have aspirations to make it to sanctionals. I'm talking about everybody who has aspirations, whether it's to make it just to a local competition. If you're signing up for your first Festivus Games, this is for you too. And I want to sit down and really go through you guys, the viewers' questions, and answer questions as it relates to, hey, I want to start competing. What do I do now? How should I approach rest days? How do I approach active recovery? What about diet? What about this? What about that? So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Before we get into the content though, I want to say thanks to my friends over at Gainsbox for sponsoring this video. If you guys don't know what Gainsbox is, I highly recommend you click on the URL I'll have in the description down below. Head on over to their website and see what they're all about. Gainsbox is a fitness subscription box filled with all different kinds of goodies from all different genres. From food, apparel, toys. I don't think there's toys, but that'd be awesome. Each box is worth double its value, and it's also curated to fit your specific fitness lifestyle. On top of it, recent curators for Gainsbox include Noah Olson, Brooke Ince, and Josh Bridges. So when I first decided to do this series, I decided video number 1 of this series has to be pretty good. And it has to be a really good subject and honestly the number one thing. And so I decided to write down a list of what that looked like. Like, what's the number one thing I could tell someone who wants to start competing? Is it programming? Is it finding a good coach? Is it diet and nutrition? You know, is it your active day recovery training protocols? And the more I looked at it, the more I realized those are great things. Those are great things we're going to talk about for sure. But to me, they're not the number one thing. The number one thing is the athlete itself. It's you. It's the athlete. Like, do you want to compete? And sometimes as an athlete, you get discouraged, right? Things discourage you. People around you discourage you. Training days in the gym discourage you. Things in life just discourage you. And so today, I want to talk about not letting anything discourage you. If this is your goal, if your goal is to compete, if your goal is to go do something, whether it's a local competition or it's the CrossFit Games, if that's your goal, don't let anything get in the way and discourage you from attaining that goal. Why is the first thing we're going to talk about the idea of discouragement? And I think as a person, when you create a goal, right, as an athlete, whoever you are, if you create this goal, it's young, right? It's pliable, it's moldable, and it changes. And so if you create this goal, but yet you surround yourself with people that speak into your life, and these people aren't supportive and they discourage you day in and day out, sometimes that goal will change or mold or get moved around, and sometimes will get thrown out. And so I think if this is 100% your goal, like you're like, I want to compete in CrossFit, whether it's sanctionals or the games or whatever, a local competition. If this is your goal, you have to realize that there's going to be some discouragement along the way from people, from outside circumstances, from just life in general. But if this is your goal, you're going to stick to it. Now I want to talk about a story that I've heard over and over and over again from inside of a CrossFit gym. Now I want to caveat this real quickly and say I absolutely love CrossFit affiliate owners. They're the best people on the planet because it takes a special person to own a CrossFit gym and to just help people's lives and change their lives in such a way as they do. But there's always this story of people who come into the CrossFit gym and tell their affiliate owner, hey, I just watched CrossFit Games on ESPN and I want to start competing. And it's always the running joke, you know, you can read it on Reddit or stories on like Facebook pages. It's always the running joke where affiliate owners are like, oh, you know, had another person come in and want to start competing again. And they kind of laugh about it, like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, they don't even know what it takes. And yeah, sometimes it comes down to the story person by person basis. You know, is the person coming in, is he or she always late to class, or just doesn't do the right work or cheats reps? Okay, if that's the case, then maybe this isn't a very realistic goal. But if the person isn't, like if the person is a hardworking individual, my question always resides is, why are we laughing at them? Why are we trying to discourage this person? Because in 2013,
in lane number 12, sitting in 12th place from Iron Major CrossFit, that is Jacob Heppner.
I wanted to go to the CrossFit Games. I rolled into an affiliate and decided, you know what? I watched one YouTube video of the CrossFit Games in 2011 or 12, and I thought to myself, that's what I want to do. And so when I rolled into the CrossFit gym and I said, I want to go to the CrossFit Games, compete. And when I told my friends and family that, no one discouraged me. Everyone supported me. And 2013 was a rough year.
A good shot at Justin Allen and the rest of the field. Jacob Heppner, he's made a lot of moves in the last 3 events to get to this final heat.
A lot of people think, oh, when you want to start competing for the first time, a CrossFit Games athlete's going to be amazing. They start off and they're awesome. It's absolutely not true.
You can just see what these cleans are doing to these guys. Like we said, the weight itself for these athletes isn't heavy on a normal day, but after 6 events, it takes its toll on them. After 6 events, and a lot of that.
There's a lot of discouragement on the long road of competing, right? 2013 was my first year at regionals. And I actually went back and looked up some past clips of it because it is hilarious to see how far I've come in a few years. So my first year at regionals was 2013, and it was hard. It was discouraging. Like, I didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do, especially if I want to go to the CrossFit Games. The best piece of advice I can give you is don't be discouraged. There's going to be some discouraging days.
Jacob Heppner in lane number 5, your overall leader. Cannot get it stood up.
There's going to be some discouraging competitions.
Your rank guard just off the record pace.
There's going to be some discouraging weeks because you're sick. There's going to be some discouraging people in your life. They're going to tell you certain things. But if you really want to accomplish your goal, if you want to start competing, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, you can't let discouragement get inside you and take a hold of you. You've got to let it roll off your back and just work past it.
Hard on the last event. But he knew that this wasn't going to be his event.
There you go. Good job picking up.
So the goal is to be doing one of these videos a week, answering your guys' basic questions on, hey, I want to start competing. How do I do this? How do I do that? Anyways, guys, put your questions down below and let me know what you want to hear me talk about. And also, to end it on the final note, thank you to my friends over at Gainsbox for sponsoring this video. If you want more information about what they do and how you can get a hold of one, I'll put a link in the description down below. Other than that, have a great day. Talk to you guys later. And don't be discouraged by other people. We'll see ya.